Hello folks, my name is Brady Bissett. I'm a cinematographer and DP. If you guys are new here, well, welcome to my channel. Please be friendly with your local subscribe button. And if you've been here before, well, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking lighting, so grab your notebooks and let's get started. The most important thing to lighting your subjects is diffusion. And the goal is to have the smoothest, softest light possible on your subject. To do that, there are a few different ways, but in simple terms, double diffusion does a great job of casting a very soft, pleasing light across your subject, almost making it seem like there's no light there at all. So today I'm gonna run through a few different ways to smoothly light your subject's face and also go over a few things that you should not do. Now this especially applies to interview lighting, but it's not limited to that. Utilizing a lot of the techniques that we learned today will do a great job making all of your cinematic scenes look cinematic and pleasing. So go ahead and take what we learned today, throw your creative twist on it, and go crazy. So one of the things that definitely doesn't look clean and pleasing is harsh light. Harsh light casts very strong shadows and contrast across your subject's face, and unless you're going for a very stark, kind of scary horror scene, the first thing that we should do is soften that light. So we're gonna go ahead and add our first layer of diffusion here. And to do that, I use my Aperture light dome, but if your resources are limited, anything like a white bed sheet or a lot of the 5-in-1 discs have a diffuser inside of it, that'll work great as well. So we're gonna add that layer of diffusion in front of our light source. Already, look how much cleaner that looks. It looks so much more smooth, soft, and professional, and you could get away with just doing this. But I feel like something else is missing, and we can do one more thing to just take it to the next level and make the shot look really soft and really clean and nice. So to achieve that, we're gonna double diffuse our light. So essentially, that's just taking the light, diffusing it like we just did, and then adding diffusion in front of that. To get this double diffusion, I pulled my softbox back, and then between myself and I squeezed in that DIY frame that I made, and don't worry, a video is coming soon, please be patient with me. But if you wanna do it now, again, a white bed sheet would work great. Either tape it to 2 stands, clamp it to stands, or put it over a C-stand arm. The main goal is just to have it stretched out and clean and even for the light to spill through again. Now with the light being diffused twice, comparing both the single and double diffusion lighting setups, look how much smoother it is with the double diffusion, with the 2 layers. You can especially see it around the eyes, the cheekbones, around the shadow side of the nose. And then for the double diffusion shot, look how much smoother the roll off is from the highlights over into the shadow side of my face. It's just such a smooth, pleasing, almost like gradient across the face. Really does a great job of making it seem like there's not even a light there, because that's the goal. You don't want the viewer to be distracted, thinking that there's a hard light source or any kind of light source pointed in that direction. You just want them to feel like that the light is there and it's just coming from the ambience of the room. And if there still are a lot of harsher shadows on the dark side of your subject's face, you can certainly just take like a white foam board or another white reflector and just bounce a little bit of light back onto their face, and that should fill in the shadows really smoothly and nicely. Now one downfall of this tactic, the double diffusion, is that you're cutting the light twice as much. So not only are you losing light when you go through the first layer of diffusion, but you're also losing it when it goes through that second layer. So if you're in a scenario where it's very bright light, this may be an issue for you, but definitely make the most out of your frame and pull the light source in just so you can see it right on the edge of the frame, and then pull it back a little bit so it's as close and as bright as you can get it. So another way to soften the light kind of in a double diffusion setup is bouncing it backwards off a reflector or a white foam core, and then after bouncing it off of your reflector, back towards your subject through that layer of diffusion that you used, and that ultimately is going to be kind of a booklight setup, which I explained before in my How to Light a Night Scene video. Let's take a look at all 3 of these setups once more and compare from no diffusion to single layer diffusion to double layer diffusion. Look at the progression of softness as you increase the diffusion. But now that we've covered how to shape the light and really soften that up, you may be wondering, where do I even put that light? So let's talk about your light direction. So the term far side key is one that we're going to touch on right now. And this means that your key light is not necessarily backlit, but coming from the back side of your subject's face relative to the camera, as opposed to front side key lighting, where the key light is coming from the same direction of the camera, and this is used very often in beauty and fashion to fill in wrinkles, shadows, imperfections in the model's face and skin. But a far side key does an amazing job of adding depth and dimension to your face by really bending and rolling the light around my face from the highlights into the shadows, and depth is so important for creating a pleasing cinematic image. So this lighting setup definitely increases the visual interest in your shot. And to direct the light, you definitely don't want the light to be coming from a low angle like the floor or anything like that, because you get a lot of weird shadows, especially from the lips, the nose, the eyes, cheekbones, everything like that. and it just looks kind of foreign and unusual. The world is very used to seeing sun and lighting coming from a high angle, so it feels natural. So that about covers all the tips that I've got for you today on lighting. Some very simple but very, very important tips to shaping your light. So I hope you all found this helpful. As always, please tag me in all the creations that you make that may be inspired by any of my videos, and leave a comment of any video that you'd like to see next. Thanks everybody, and class dismissed. You know, I don't really know why I do that or where that even came from, the whole class dismissed thing, but I guess it's like my thing now? I don't know. Okay, bye guys.